Hello, I am Richard York and my story comes from Boccaccio's own Decameron. Now Chichibio was cook to Currado, a man who could afford the finer things in life, as he called them. And one of his favourite finer things was riding out with his peregrine falcon on his wrist, casting her up at game. Now this morning she had caught a particularly fine plump crane, which Currado now brought and presented to Chichibio, saying it must be cooked perfectly, because that afternoon he was having dinner with a rather special guest. Master, said Chichibio, when have I ever cooked anything less than perfectly for you? Since you say she is a very special guest, of course I shall excel myself. You'd better, said Currado, or your back will be the sorer for it. So Chichibio got to work. He cleaned, he plucked, he dressed that bird, he put just the right amount of just the right sort of herbs, just the right amount of oil, just the right consistency of honey, and then tended the cooking flame very carefully underneath the spit as he turned it. And the juice ran, and the juice ran, and dripped and sizzled. Oh, and the smell. If I could describe the smell adequately to you, then it would surely reach out of this screen that you watch, and it would draw you in, just as it snaked its way out of the kitchen window and it drew in Brunetta, who Chichibio always really hoped was his girlfriend. "Oh, Chichibio," she said as she came into the kitchen, deftly avoiding his outstretched arms, as deftly as if she'd been practicing social distancing for weeks. "Chichibio, what is that smell and what is that beautiful thing you are cooking?" as she made a beeline straight for it. "It is a crane for the master," he said. "He's having a very special guest this afternoon, and it is to be cooked perfectly, he told me." "Oh, I'm sure it will be. But Chichibio, give me some. I mean, we need to test it, just in case it is not perfect for his special guest. Oh, Brunetta, I can't. He'd have the skin off my back." "Oh, Chichibio, I thought you loved me. Besides, we do need to test it. Now look, Chichibio, it's got 2 legs. They're hardly going to miss one." "Oh, Brunetta." But even as he hesitated, she knew that he was lost and pressed on. "Chichibio, if you don't give me some, no cuddle, no kiss, never again." Oh, what was a man to do? Chichibio honed his sharpest knife. He surgically removed one leg and lapped the flap of skin carefully over. Brunetta sank her pearly teeth into the tender flesh. Ooh, and didn't care that the juice ran over her lip, that it trickled down her chin, that it ran down the soft skin of her neck, that it ran further. But at that point, the hall servant came in and said that the master was calling for the main course. So Chichibio reverently delivered it. "Your mastership, your mistressship." But because this was the 14th century, he did not say, "Enjoy." In fact, he nearly made it to the door before, "Chichibio." "Yes, your mastership." "This crane, it only has 1 leg." "So it does, your mastership. How careless of it." "Chichibio, when my peregrine caught it this morning, this crane had 2 legs. Birds have 2 legs, Chichibio, in case you hadn't noticed." "Maybe, your mastership, in the excitement of the chase, you, perhaps you didn't count very carefully. Besides, I didn't count it myself. I'm so used to seeing 1-legged cranes. In Venice, where I come from, we have flocks of them. They fly up and down all the time. If we had more time, I'm sure we could go down to the lake and I could show you some. A flock must be passing through. But obviously you have your fine dinner and your revered guest." "Chichibio." "Yes, master." "Tomorrow morning we are going down to the lake, you and you are going to show me 1-legged cranes, or else, Chichibio, And so the next morning, Chichibio and his master went down to the lake, the master riding on his fine horse, Chichibio trotting disconsolately behind. And they arrived at that perfect moment shortly after dawn, when the sun's fingers are just becoming warm enough to gently poke holes in the pearly blanket of mist that covers the water, and the only sounds are the gentle plashing and spink of early morning birds as they wake up and talk to their neighbours. There, a little group of early morning cranes, feeding with that curious backwards-kneed way of walking they have. Chichibio. Two-legged cranes. Yes, your mastership. Perhaps the one-legged sort are a little further along. And indeed, when they came further along, it seemed that Chichibio's luck was in, because there, amid the wreaths and wraiths of mist, a little group of sleepy cranes, with their heads tucked under their wings and the way of wading birds the world over, one foot drawn up. Your mastership, do you see? One-legged cranes, as I promised. Can we go home now, please? By way of reply, Currado spurred his horse, splashed into the shadows. "Oh-ho!" he shouted as he clapped his hands, and of course all the birds panicked. Heads were pulled out from under wings, wings that opened wide and flapped as the birds leapt into the air and, sparkling white in the sun, flapped off, trailing two legs behind them. Two-legged cranes, Chichibio. Come here, as he uncoiled a leather belt he had with him. But your mastership, one last throw of the dice, your mastership, when yesterday I delivered the crane to your table, you did not then cry, "Oh-ho!" and clap your hands, for if you had, I'm certain that it would have popped the other leg out, just as these birds did this morning. The witch's master couldn't resist laughing and forgave him, just as I hope you will forgive the teller of this story. Thank you.